And in South America, tensions erupted in the capital of Buenos Aires as pensioners and protesters clashed with riot police outside Argentina's Congress. At the heart of the chaos is a controversial veto by President Javier Milei blocking a pension increase designed to help those struggling under the country's crippling inflation. Lawmakers fell short of the overturning the veto, sparking a wave of anger and protest from those who say austerity is crushing the nation's most vulnerable. The issue has turned the streets of Buenos Aires into a battleground. Here's our report with more.
It was a tense Wednesday outside Argentina's Congress. As lawmakers inside debated the future of pension increases, hundreds gathered in the streets with palpable anger. The crowd, many of them pensioners, grew restless as the news of the vote spread. Inside, President Javier Milei's veto on the pension hike stood strong. But outside, the atmosphere was anything but calm.
And this government is perverse. It is absolutely perverse. And the deputies who vote in favor of the veto today are also perverse and deserve to be expelled from their parties, deserve to never be voted for again, and should not be able to continue their path in politics.
Earlier, lawmakers in the lower house had tried to push through a bill to increase pensions. The move that would have offered some relief to retirees who are struggling with Argentina's sky-high inflation, which sits at a staggering 236%. It was meant to cushion those on the edge, to lift pensions just enough to make a real difference. But the right-wing libertarian President Javier Milei wasn't ready to give in. He vetoed the plan, claiming it would derail his hard-fought battle to rein in Argentina's fiscal deficit. Austerity, Milei believed, was the country's only path forward.
If the fiscal degenerates that are in the Argentine Congress of the Nation want to break my economic plan, I will veto the pension reform. The fiscal degenerates voted nonsensically in a large majority that implies 62% of the GDP is debt. This is they approved a measure that costs Argentines $370 billion to ruin the life of our children, our grandchildren, and our future generations.
The vote that afternoon was meant to override his veto. And with 153 lawmakers voting in favor and 87 against, there was hope, but they fell short. The two-thirds majority required to reverse Milei's decision slipped through their fingers. As the realization hit the crowd, frustration boiled over. Protesters, many of them elderly, pushed through the barricades. Riot police responded with force, pepper spray and rubber bullets cutting through the chaos. In a city already burdened by economic hardship, the clash felt like a battle for survival.
I swear, I don't know how to make the money work at the end of the month. I get paid in a few days, and in about 10 days, goodbye to the money because I get the minimum pension.
I am a retiree, and the money is not enough for anything. I buy 2 kilos of meat and 2 kilos of bread, and the money spent. 2 kilos of meat and 2 kilos of bread, and the money is gone, and they make $10 million, about $10,000 per month. Give me a break, this is not fair.
But inside Congress, Milei and his allies remained steadfast. We cannot spend what we don't have, argued Juliana Santillan, one of the president's supporters. For them, fiscal responsibility came first, even at the cost of the most vulnerable. But for others, like centrist lawmaker Rodrigo de Loredo, the modest pension hike, which was equivalent to the cost of a dozen empanadas, was the least they could offer. Milei, unfazed by the opposition, took to X, hailing the outcome as a victory. 87 heroes stopped the fiscal degenerates, he wrote, casting his opponents as villains of the state budget. His words only fueled the anger outside, where protesters continued their stand against the austerity measures.
No, I no longer live. Just because a heart beats doesn't mean there's life. Be careful, I don't live. I'm a living dead. I don't know how to explain it. I don't live because I earn $405 a day. It's very simple, $12,154 a month.
As the dust settled, the reality of Argentina's deep divisions became clear. On one side, a government committed to austerity, determined to slash spending and bring inflation under control. On the other, a population worn down by decades of economic crisis, struggling to make ends meet. The vote, the protests, the clashes, it all signaled more than just a battle over pensions. It was a moment that captured the tensions pulling Argentina apart. Whether Milei's tough measures would ultimately save the economy or deepen its wounds remains to be seen.